What's up, everyone? It's 7 o'clock and we're live. I'm not Rhonda, but I am going to show you how to use purple in a marble without hating the color purple. I don't know if you guys were here last week when Rhonda decided that she was going to do a purple piece and then that she hated purple. But I'm going to change your mind on purple. I'm going to change her mind on purple. I'm going to change everybody's minds on purple. At least that's my goal. And I hope you guys will adventure with me into the realm of purple things. Purple things. So if you've never met me before, hi, hello, what's up? I'm Erica. And you've probably seen me a couple times on Rhonda's channel, or maybe you're a subscriber of my channel. Either way, I'm excited to have you guys here for an amazing live. Rhonda is getting ready to go to her daughter's amazing wedding up in that place, Montana. I'm okay. I can remember things. Just trying to get this situated good enough. And I will be going up there as well, but we're not leaving till a day after. And so whatever, Rhonda, yours is beautiful. I just like joshing with you. And I may not know much, but I know purple. And it hurt my heart to hear you say, I hate purple. And I feel like you knew that. You felt it from me because you even said in the live that I was probably cursing your name, which I would never do. And I didn't do it. I swear I didn't do it. If you guys don't know, I'm using my amazing handy dandy this. This is a stand mixer for smaller, oh, you hate your purple. Okay. This is a stand mixer for smaller batches of resin. I know Rhonda uses a massive drill when she does her mixing. I don't need that much. And so I have just an Istelio stand mixer. And maybe Clara can send you a link out of my Amazon stuff out of my channel. I don't know, but it's pretty handy because I can set up stuff and then let this just mix until I'm ready for it. You just set it and forget it. I think it's valuable to you guys for sample size pieces. But other than that, it's probably not that valuable because you guys mix way more resin than us little baby artists do. But anyways, I'm going to show you guys how to do purple and gold marble like an artist. Not that Rhonda is not an artist. She is so talented. I love her. You guys don't know. Rhonda's my best friend. I love everything about her. And I feel like that gives me the ability to be like, Rhonda, let me show you how to do purple justice. I say that while I'm getting purple all over my hand and I don't even know where it came from. I'm trying to be a challenge without her here to baby chicken at me. If you guys don't know what the baby chicken looks like, let me know at the end of the video and I'll give you a representation of Rhonda's angry baby chicken move. It's my favorite. Almost as much as when she tried to blow resin and it didn't work. Rhonda's my favorite. Anyways, this is going to be amazing. I thank you guys so much for being here with me tonight. It means so much to me. It means so much to Rhonda that you guys take time out of your day to see what we're creating and let you be entertained or educated or otherwise inspired to create. That's what we do these videos for. So thank you guys for being here, and super thank you to the mods for joining us, and super thank you to Rhonda for trusting me with your baby here today. So now that my resin is mixed, I'm using Stone Coat Art Coat. I'm going to separate it out into different cups. This is going to be a translucent white. This is going to be an interference pearl, oyster. This Tea Tiny baby cup is going to be a gold. Sorry if that was loud. And then I am going to do a Tea Tiny Baby Purple. And then I have some other colors up my sleeve, which I will share with you guys. I use different size cups because I only want to make enough of the color that I'm going to use in that size cup. Think about it as if you were going to a buffet and if you had a big plate, you're probably going to fill it and then waste a lot. And with resin, it's so expensive, arguably more expensive than a buffet. So I am going to keep the colors to the size of my little plates. I hope that makes sense. That's some e-science. If you're not familiar with it, I take the things that I think about and reword them and then spit them out how I think about them. So it may not be super, super correct, but it's how I think about them. And I hope it's relatable. If anything's confusing, please comment. I am reading the comments and I'm here to help you guys. So I'm going to start with my whites. So I'm using Just Resin Titanium for my main white. This is an amazing white that, in my experience, has put off yellowing so well, or ambering, however you say. I have a couple videos on my channel about comparisons in different kinds of whites and what ambers and what doesn't, if you want to check it out. So I'm going to start, I kind of stuck a little bit because of that purple that I don't know where it came from. So I'm going to start with an opaque white. I always mix my opaque first because then I use that white to make my translucent. So I a little bit overload my opaque white. So this is going to be opaque, as I said. And opaque means, just so I'm clear with everybody, that you cannot see through it. It is a solid, it's a wall, okay? Opaque means there's a wall in between you and whatever you would see through it. So if I pull up some resin, that little fan, you wouldn't be able to see through it. You wouldn't be able to see the color of the sticks through it. The sticks, by the way, you can get on my website or Rhonda's. These actually are reusable forever and ever, amen, unless you get too violent with them, which happens. And because wood is porous, you actually incorporate bubbles when you mix with wooden, like popsicle sticks and the paint stirrers and stuff like that. If you're just doing surface area stuff, not a concern because you're going to hit it with alcohol or heat to bust those bubbles. But if you're going to do casting, the bubbles you incorporate is very important. So hit us up for some no bubble sticks. Okay, so I have my opaque white. I'm not going to use that much, but I'm going to use just some of this to make my translucent or skim milk white. If skim milk is on your bingo card for stuff that Rhonda usually says during her live, put a 1 in the chat. P.S. on my channel, I'm going to start doing bingo cards for people. I'm just going to send it out with orders. And I'm going to give something for people that get bingo first. Okay, so I'm using my opaque white and a whole bunch of resin. This is an 8-ounce cup in order to get a translucent or a skim milk white, which means that you can't see through it, but when you look at it, you can see like a shape. Think of like a frosted glass. And so you could see shape, but not detail. And so when you hold your resin up, you should be able to see some of the tan of your stir stick, or you should be able to see through a little bit of that fan that drops off. That's translucent. Now, transparent means you can see all the way through it. It's essentially clear, but with a color. You can see details. That's transparent. Translucent is just halfway between. Now, I'm going to mix up some this. Okay, so apparently I have purple stuck to everything. This is Interference Oyster from Resin Art. It is a very creamy, beautiful I need another cup. Hold that thought. It is a creamy, beautiful, kind of like a champagne, but it's a little bit more like a platinum champagne. So it's not so much, it doesn't really have that browny, skin tony, taupey color to it. It is a platinum version of that. And you'll see what I'm saying in just a moment. So when I use my powders, I don't use a lot of micas on my channel just because I don't want to deal with the puff of mica in the air, and I don't want to deal with having to make sure I pre-moisten my mica so that I don't get those little flecks of color that just never seem to meld into my resin. But this is one that I will break my no mica policy. Number one, it's made by Resin Art, and so I know it's a really high quality mica. It's not made for soaps or just crafty things like that. It melts in effortlessly. You guys saw that I didn't even do that many swirls. I don't even have it all the way mixed in, but it's still just flawlessly melted. You don't have to do the alcohol slurry with it. You don't have to use a dispersion liquid. Resin Art micas are where it's at. And they have a new line coming out. Oh my goodness. I can't wait to show you guys the color. If you like color, this will be right up your alley. By the way, if you don't know, I am the resident pigment pusher slash color matcher slash composition assistant for things. If you need help with composition or color, I'm your lady. Okay, so we're going to do a translucent interference oyster. You can see it's not exactly that champagne-y, yellowy color. It is more of a platinum champagne, so it still has that pearlescent look to it, but it's not quite as yellowy browny as a lot of champagnes are. So I like to call it a platinum champagne. Next color is not purple. It is Old Gold. If you have 007, that is a very close cousin of this. For my golds, I always overload them. And overloading means I'm putting more pigment in the resin than the resin can really handle. So I do that with every mica, including my metallic micas like this one. So usually someone would load their micas about maybe this much, but I'm going to put an extra scoop in there because in my head, more is more. And I'm a glutton for color. B, can that be a shirt? Glutton for color. Okay, new merch on the way, glutton for color. This is a metallic flake, so you have to kind of fold it in. If you watch Schitt's Creek, then you know what I'm talking about. And this is a floating and sinking gold. So it'll sink a little bit and give like a tan or brown line. And then it'll also have some floating bits that'll be a bright, shiny gold. Best of both worlds, in my opinion. All right. I'm also going to be using Shooting Star or Milky Way. This is one of my favorite things to put into resin. As you can see, the flakes are, it looks a little bit big, looks a little bit like fish food with a sparkle to it, but it's actually a mica that has a unique binder in it that gives some really beautiful effects. And the shimmer to it is kind of rainbowy. You can't see it right now, but once I put it in the resin, you will be able to see it. I'm not going to put that much because I want it to be a translucent. You can overload this color and get it to be opaque, but we're going to stick with translucence and build our color. So let's just mix it. Look, there's already no flakes. It's so yummy. This is my favorite way to add sparkle that's not a surface glitter. Look at that sparkle. Okay, let me get real close. You see those rainbow colors? It's so subtle. So it doesn't give like, oh, glitter sparkle. It gives elegant sparkle. And you can still see through it. So you can still see the tan of the stir stick. So that's exactly where I want that. Meow. The next color is one that I cannot pronounce. I wish I had a friend here to help me with Aberge. Okay, this color is my Italian drip. If you could only see my face when I try to say this word, I'm just going to call it Abby Jean because I cannot say Aberge. I give up. This color is going in next, and this is going to be the purple for our purple marble. So it's kind of a very deep, rich purple, and this is a paste. If you guys don't know the difference in a paste, powder, tint, dye, etc., I have a couple of videos on my channel. And this is a paste. Pastes are typically very much like this. It's very much like a pudding consistency. You can get them in a flat like this one. It has no shimmer, sparkle, or anything like that. It's just rich color. And I really like to have a rich color along with my glitters and sparkles and shimmers and metallics and all those things because it really balances out. You don't need sparkle, shimmer on top of everything else. You need to have some balance. Trust me, as a color person, you have to have balance. So I'm going to take some of my Abby Jean and mix it into my resin. This is kind of, it's a super deep purple. It's almost like a chocolate purple, but it's not chocolate, but it kind of reminds me of like if chocolate orange, if you could envision chocolate. Okay, so here, I'm going to give you some e-science. Take chocolate orange and make it chocolate purple. That's what this is. And I'm sorry if I confused anybody like that. But also, look at that color. I'm not sorry. Okay. The last color I'm going to mix up, I wasn't sure. I'm still not sure if I'm actually going to use it. Well, if I can't find it, I can't use it. I don't know where my purple sapphire is. If I find it before I finish the piece, I'll add it. But if not, also fine. The purple sapphire would have just made things a little bit brighter, but also it's okay because this is kind of a deep design anyways. Aubergine. Got it, Andrea. I'm going to forget it, but I got it.
Yeah, you just go.
Yeah, I'm really good at making it like a close call. This is one of our hexagon surfaces. It is on our website, artisttilldeath.com, if you are so interested. So let's get started. Actually, I need to make a little bit more of my translucent white, I am noticing. This is a 24-inch hexagon. I mixed up 22 ounces of resin. I always keep some resin that's clear on reserve in case I need just a little bit more of something, because you never know. Sometimes you just need a little bit more of something. All right. My husband, Jeff, is here, and he is helping with the videography. Rhonda's not the only one with eye candy. Okay, so I'm going to use my abalone to put some color, some resin down. And this is just going to help our other resin flow over the piece. I really want to make it where there's resin everywhere, because once I do my dirty or exotic pours, it's just going to help everything move more easily across the surface. So I'm going to use a little bit of my Milky Way or Shooting Star, a little bit of my Interference Oyster, and this is all background noise. This is all not really that important. This is just to have something for our actual design to play off of, because you don't want to put a whole bunch of work in an actual design and then put lines of your design and it's just on a stagnant background. It's not going to look exactly how you want it to, in my opinion. So I like to have a little bit of something in the background. Also, since I mixed my resin colors with these gloves, I have a lot of color. And that is okay when I'm trying to do this part because it's just going to add a little bit more depth. I think the key to a realistic design is to have depth. If you don't have depth, then you're really selling yourself short a little bit because you're going to have to do more layers. You're going to do more work to get the design elements that you would have if you just incorporated just a little bit of translucence, a little bit of a deeper design. Okay, B, come here. I want to show them this. So when I was mixing my gold, I got a little bit of my gold dust on this area right here. You can see these little freckles down here. I could work those out like that, but I'm just going to leave them because that's just another element that's going to give our design depth. I think people,
If you see it, you think you'll see it?
I mean, you may, it depends on where the design goes, but ultimately I feel like people spend too much time, energy, and effort and stress on making something perfect when it doesn't have to be perfect. Nothing in nature is perfect. And if you're doing a design that's based on a natural stone, then you shouldn't spend so much time trying to be perfect. Because
Somebody asked, what are you going to do with that board because it's going to be beautiful?
it is for sale always. Everything that we do is always for sale always.
I'm showing you right now.
Oh, hi. Everything that we do is for sale always. Don't base it off of how I look right now.
It's a good color.
Thanks.
So
Okay.
you don't care if you haven't got anything here or here? Or...
No, there are breaks in the resin. You can see there's like the glossy area where the resin is, and then there's the dry, flat, or matte area where the resin isn't. And that is actually on purpose. I'm not going to do a full flood or skim coat, or as Claire says, a skin coat, because I'm going to run some lines of color through that, and I want it to go through these dead zones. Go ahead. Wipe the can.
I need to clean this real quick, y'all.
2 seconds.
Sorry.
And we're back. So I'm not going to fill these in completely. I'm going to run some lines through those areas because it's actually going to stick in those areas. Because what happens, I'm sure you've heard it if you've seen any videos here before, resin's going to roll over the areas that it already has resin down. It's kind of like water on water. It's just going to flow. And where I put resin on these dry areas, it's going to stick. So just for situation's sake, this whole dry area has just a streak of purple in it. And that is going to grab and stretch. So I'm going to get a lot of stretched movement that doesn't really matter if I'm rolling it off the edge. A lot of times I'll do a super tilt and roll it off the edge in order to get it to stretch on the way back, which I will end up doing in this video. I will make a note of it so you guys can pay attention to that part as well.
Brenda said, I came in late. Did she fog the board?
No fog. This is just a white board that I'm adding color to. So I will show you in a minute what that looks like. Just know that right there, where all that purple is, it's a lesson. Lesson check. Okay. So now I have a lot of color down that doesn't really matter, essentially. I'm just putting stuff down for our underpainting. And if you notice, I'm not crossing the streams. If you watch Ghostbusters, you know just to don't cross the streams. You don't want an X, okay? Especially not in the center of your piece, because composition. All right, now that I have all of these bits done, I have breaks in the resin, I'm going to kind of meld these through. I don't want to combine them, so to speak. I just want to kind of move them together. I just want to marry them a little bit. I'm going to put a little bit more of this translucent white down though. Please stay with me for this. This is all background noise. Not the most exciting bit, but very important. What's that thing you always say, B? If you think it's not important,
do it.
If you think it's not important, do it. Because it's the subtleties that make a difference. Oh. Let it live. So I'm just skimming across the top in some areas. And I know it's going to look a hot mess. I swear I know. I know it is. But it's all important for the underpainting design. Trust me, I've done resin for a couple minutes. And this is just how it works. So I'm just skimming my hand just across the top in order to create no dry spots. This is the time where I'm doing no dry spots. And all this is going to be an underpainting. And if this doesn't work out, if I don't like it, I'm going to blame Rhonda's channel, because I did this exact thing on my channel today and it was amazing. I just want to make sure there are no dry bits.
Dry bits over here.
Dry bits over here. All right. I think I got most of the dry bits. Oh, okay. There. Well, I'll get them.
All right here.
For this part of the process, it's okay if you cross just a little bit. You just don't want to do that in the center of the piece. You can go just a little bit wonky, but you don't want to go absolutely right on the counter axis.
100 people.
Oh my goodness. I just said counter axis and it sounded so legit. That's a word, right? Yeah. Listen, for someone that makes up their own language, I'm very proud of the fact that I used a real word in its correct context.
How do you keep your tools, spray bottles from getting sticky with epoxy?
So what I do is I have a rag handy that is fairly drenched with 91% isopropyl alcohol. And so you can just wipe your hands off, / whatever else you're working with. You can just wipe your hands off and keep going. All right. Meow, we have to build a dirty pour. And when we do this, I don't want my dirty pour cup to sit for a long time. So get everything you need to do done before you start to build your dirty pour or exotic pour. And because I have a lot of color down in my background, I'm going to do very little of any color. So I'm doing just swizzles of other colors into my white and translucent white. Gonna just do swizzle, right? Very little. We're gonna use our interference, oyster. If you pour into your dirty pour cup from a higher distance, it's gonna sink further into your dirty pour or exotic pour cup. So when you have a lot of resin down here in the bottom, when you're making a bunch, if you're doing a full countertop and you're doing a dirty pour, if you pour from higher up, for example, like this, that's going to sink all the way to the bottom and help your colors incorporate with themselves. If you don't want that to happen, pour lower. If you want them to kind of
to the side,
you could do it down the side, absolutely.
Inside the cup, not outside the cup.
Well, yeah.
Do you throw that rag away or wash it? Just curious.
That rag is trash.
Yeah. You can't really wash.
Yeah, it's really hard to wash anything with resin in it. It's just the nature of epoxy. You can give it a shot. I haven't found anything that actually pulls resin out of anything. But I think Stone Coat or Alumilite are trying to come up with something that does. Last I heard. And get one of my little stir sticks. So this is our dirty or exotic pour right now. And if I were to pour this out right now, it would not have any of the purple really because it's only these colors on top, which actually...
Nikki, you have to cut it. Said hair question mark.
Oh, done.
I mean, you could try, but I think if
Snip
you put
it.
acetone in your hair, it would probably just burn it. Yeah. Like you could probably try to put alcohol or acetone, but
just snip it. If it's wet, you can alcohol it out. If it's dry, you're going to have to live with it or cut it.
That's right, TG. That's why God made ATD aprons. I mean, if you call
science.
me God, like you can call me God, but I'm no Yeezy.
Okay.
No, she said that's why God made ATD aprons.
I know.
And I make the aprons. So.
You do. Okay, so I gave it a little swizzle so that we have a design in the top, because once you start to pour this out, that's what you see is the design it's going to start with. So I always give it just one swirl. You don't want to mix it because you don't want to combine the colors. You just want to give it a little swirl for interest. And you always want to go with the flow of your design. So I'm going to go straight across or just at 1/4 angle. So that means from this side to this side or this side to this side. It's not going to mean all the way across because that's going to be a little bit distracting for your piece. Look at the subtle depth and amazingness in there. You can see
through it
so much. It makes my heart so happy to see translucent anything. Now we're going to be tilting this, so don't get too involved with anything that you see right now. It's all going to get tilted and maneuvered. And a lot of people will set this cup down at this point so that they don't have to deal with these little trails of color and it'll just all blub out on an end. But I like to kind of cross hatch it because it's these little features like that that are going to make a difference. So I'm just going to give a few of these crosses. There's a little bit of a fractal line. This is the one time I'm going to let you guys do any crossways and let it be okay. Now, I feel like I need just a little bit more of a white-based and a gold-based dirty pour. So I'm just going to only do the white and the Milky Way and the gold. Because I need some balance, and it's okay. When you're working on a piece.
Well, when you have all that together and you keep pouring different resins, it's gonna kind of mix together, right? If you have it in your cup for very long, it's definitely gonna kind of, what is the term, meld?
Meld. Yeah, M-E-L-D, meld.
Did Rhonda make that up, or is that a term?
Meld is an actual term, but Rhonda does use it a lot.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, it's a design element. So I'm not going to add any more purples. I'm just going to add this. Give it a swirl for good measure. I get messages from people all the time worried that they've messed up a piece because some little thing went wrong. And I just want to tell people nothing's ever done, nothing's ever wrong, nothing's ever broken with epoxy. You can always fix it. Until it's cured, you can fix it.
And then even when it's cured,
you can do something.
You can paint over it.
All right.
You can put a dragon on there. You can put some flowers on there.
Well, if it's a countertop, you can't really do a dragon.
No.
Okay, so we've got there's no dry bits. Okay, so I'm going to add a couple of lines of just the opaque white. And this is going to give a whole bunch of depth once we start to maneuver it and manipulate it around. And also when I do these kind of lines, I like to slow down in certain areas so that it's a little bit thicker, and then I'll speed up so it's a little bit thinner. It's these little things like varying your line weights that makes your piece unique.
He said, Erica, since you didn't tape your edges, how mark are you using? What? I don't know.
Since you didn't tape your edges, how many ounces per square foot are you using? So I did use, I mixed 20 ounces for this 24-ounce board just because I always over mix. And then I'll make coasters with my leftover. I hardly ever tape my edges unless I'm working on a pour in place that is very not level. I always like, okay, so I almost always only do pour in places because I don't have a place to fabricate. And so my gigs are almost always pour in place. And I prefer that because, I mean, I don't have to do construction. And no, I've yet to do a project where, okay, most people would freak out at that, but it's fine. I've yet to do a project where it's exactly perfectly level. And I love that because then it's going to shift. It's going to self-tilt, if I may. And that always brings out the design, the tilt. The tilt makes the difference. Make sure I'm going to pull this and not break things. All right. So I use a heat gun for this because I just want to heat the surface, pop the bubbles, and make things a little bit more liquid. You can use a torch. I just use a heat gun. In this application, there's no difference right now in this point. So now I'm going to pick up a side. Okay, wait. Since this is just a sample, I can decide where my favorite is and tilt accordingly. So B, where do you think my favorite is? Where should I tilt? Is there anything you would like to see tilted off? This is kind of low, so I don't mind that going. So I'm just going to tilt this bit off and then pull it this way. So I am going to tilt this area. What degree is this? 45, 80, 90, 100 degree? Who knows? And what tilting is doing is making my whole design more cohesive. If there's a design part that I don't like and I want it to move extra, I can just add a little bit extra heat there. That's going to thin out our resin a little bit more and make that area move a little bit faster. I didn't exactly want that to move, but I wanted to demo it. So I'm going to quarter turn it just so it makes a little bit more sense with the design. Okay, so remember I told you I like to tilt things off, create a grab, and tilt it back. This is exactly what I mean. I tilted this part off and I tilted this part off. And I'm going to tilt it back this way, the opposite way, and it's going to grab and stretch. And that creates a beautiful flow of design, in my opinion. So like right here, it kind of grabbed and is just elongating that design. If that's not for you, not a problem. You can just tilt it all the way and then grab and bring it back. And so since I added those white lines, those fractal lines kind of later, and then let them sink a little bit, you can really see kind of a shift. You can see the white highlight and then kind of a fade out, an ombre look. You may have to get in for that before you.
Oh, I'm just going to put it back in the thing there.
So you can see in these, there's like the white highlight and then that, ooh, let me move this light.
The light is so...
Okay. So you can see that white highlight and then that ombre shift where it like fades out opposite of where I tilted it. That is why I like to use translucents. That is why I like to tilt, because it just moves everything in the same direction and makes it all look intentional. Even if something was there that you didn't like, now it's cohesive with everything else. It's intentional. And this, if I may borrow a line from my bestie, could be a finish all on its own. Slash, should we take it to the next step? Should we add harsher lines of gold? Should we add harsher lines of purple?
No, I would do gold and white.
Harsher lines of gold and white.
A lot of purple, so.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, foodie. Okay. So add more gold and more white.
Sorry for all the movement, y'all. I'm trying to move this down. This is terrible. Sorry. I'm trying to just move it a little closer and have it stable.
You guys have no idea how many times we've been hired to do pink marble, blue marble, just exotic colors that aren't really found in nature, but we can create with epoxy. So this is a great way to differentiate yourself from people that just do the soapstones, the tans, taupes, grays, pandas, things like that. This is what we do, essentially. Okay. GSP, what do you mean, but? Do you use any of the dripping to create another? Sorry, Nikki. In a second, I'll be able to answer you. I can't really see it. Way to go, B. That's perfect. Do you use any of the dripping to create another cell? So you can scrape this up. Rhonda does it a lot in her videos. I'll do a little bit of a scoop to show you. So if I were to scoop this bit right here, I could run essentially a dirty pour vein, but that's a lot of what I did earlier with the kind of end of my dirty pour. You can absolutely do that. Nothing wrong with it at all. If I didn't do that before, I would do it now. Absolutely. More dark purple. Let's see how we go with the gold, and then we'll evaluate the dark purple. So I'm going to take some of this Color Passion Old Gold. And when Jeff takes it down again, he can show you the little flecks that are floating here. You can see that little confetti bit, all those little like pom-poms of gold that are coming out. That's from overloading your old gold. If you don't put enough in, it would just look like this kind of burnt out tan. I love it. I love working with this. It reminds me so much of working with Mayron. Okay, so I'm going to add some veins of the gold, and compositionally speaking, I'm going to leave this mostly alone. The middle, because it's such a stark contrast to the soft purples and light golds that we have here, if I were to just put a vein right through the middle, it would be distracting rather than helpful. So I'm just going to follow this like vein that I have just drawn through here. I'm going to do what I talked about a second ago, where I'm varying my line weight by going fast and slow. It's okay if it breaks a little bit. Nothing in nature is perfect. You just definitely want to make sure that you're going according to the design that your original layout has / what your tilt created. So if the design is going like this, you need to follow that. All right, I'm good with the gold. We got some dark gold lines in there now. I can let it sink a bit and then we can tilt it and see what it does. Erica, run a couple of the dark Abby Jean lines for contrast. Can do. GSP, we're always going to take it to the next level. This is Rhonda's channel, and that's what we do here. Oh, thank you guys. Isn't harsher a word? Is it? Probably. I don't. Yes. No. Yes. All right. So for my Abby Jean lines, I'm just going to kind of follow my gold because I'm going to tilt it one more time. So if you notice here, I don't know if you can see, you don't have to bring it back down. You can just turn it. You can zoom in from there. It's fine.
Yeah.
Okay. So I crossed over, which is perfectly fine. And I want you guys to see. So see the spine that's coming up. And okay, see the spine that's coming up in this. Oh my goodness. The spine that's coming up in the gold right here. That is where the colors are sinking, but there's a bit that's going to be a floating gold. So once I tilt it, the spine is what's going to shift and everything else is going to be under the other colors. So you really want to look out for that spine because that means once you start to tilt, you're going to have a floating bit. Just a little pro tip for you. You're welcome. I'm going to put a couple more white lines and we're going to tilt one more time and we're going to call it for today unless anyone has any announcements. The white lines that I put on, I don't really go according to the exact design. I kind of cross over a little bit because that gives that it's just enough offset to get your attention, but it's not distracting. I really hope that makes sense because that's so important in artwork to have something that catches your eye but is not distracting. And say what you will, but I think art is very important to people that create designs like these, designs like you guys create for countertops for your business. I think having an idea about composition is so vital. Knowing how your colors work, so vital. And if you guys want, I'll talk Rhonda into letting me do a color class / composition. Okay. Our last tilt. I'm going to bring it this way. So it is really, if you hold your wrist or your forearm this far off of your surface, you can feel if your, can they see how far I'm up? So you can feel if your resin is too hot or not. If you feel heat coming off of it at that point, don't put any more heat on it because you're risking to scorch it. So you really want to let your resin cool off a little bit before you do too much more design. I'm going to tilt it towards me for this one because I tilted everything else in the other direction. I'm doing just a little bit of heat to get it to move. I don't want it to move too much. And you'll be able to see the white roll over the gold, roll over the purple. It's going to stretch and give an amazing look. It's going to give that shadow of depth that I don't know how you even could get other than doing it this way. I was going to tilt it back, but I feel like I like this look right here. This is amazing.
Gold. Like
that shadow, that like ombre fade out, that is solely because we use translucents and we gave our resin time to sync with the colors that are heavier, like the golds, the whites, and the Abby Jeans. I love it. I really love how this looks. I didn't even do this on purpose, but it looks like there's like a right here. I don't know. I love it. Tell me what you guys think. I am so interested to know. Evelyn said tink tink, y'all. And I can't turn down a tink tink because we fam. Tink. Jack is a friend of yours. Well, tonight Tito and Bailey and Kahlua are a friend of hers. We're having some adult chocolate milk. And I hope you guys are having an amazing night too. You don't have to drink to make creative and amazing artwork. But as an adult, I feel like I can relax and do that. And don't judge me. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoy this design. I super, super love it. Rhonda, if you're still here, sup girl. Sup girl. That's not a challenge because I'm scared of you. I just want people to know that purple is an option. Amethyst marble is an option. How do I find the video on the difference between mica, inks, and paste? I find it super hard to search for what I'm looking for. Does the video have a name? Maybe that will help. I don't know. If Clara has it, maybe she can link it. You can also send me a message. B, where are you? Hey, will you run into the office and get me our phone number? It starts with 469. It's on a sticky note above the desk. I'll give you guys a phone number to text me if you have questions about the differences in certain kind of pigments, because there is a difference. Using different kind of pigments creates different kind of looks. And I think each one has its place. I think each one has its importance. I mostly use paste because I don't have to worry about flecks of color giving me texture in our pieces. Look how elegant is that? How elegant is that? Look at that depth. I can't even handle it. So
I would have wrote it better if you were going to show it.
okay, don't judge his handwriting. 469-249-2692. If you want to reach out to me about color, composition, and the differences in certain kind of pigments, happy to help. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please subscribe to the channel. If you have time after you do that, please check out our channel, Artist Till Death. We are on YouTube. Get your Istelio stand mixer. Rhonda, I think, has a link in her description for Amazon. You can follow that and search Istelio. That way she gets credit. If you want any of these colors, Clara linked it. In the live feed. You need a class on that? What do you need a class on? I'm here to help. Let me know. If you guys want a class on composition or color theory, please send Rhonda an email. That way she books me to teach you guys what I know. I have many degrees in color theory and composition from Alabama. And if you're not an Alabama fan, I don't know what to tell you. Oh, yeah, she linked the videos on micas and paste. My pleasure, recovering foodie. Please subscribe if you haven't. We love you guys so much. Thank you, mods, for being here for us. Thank you, everyone that decided to stay. Composition and color theory would be amazingly helpful. Also, what do you think about puppies? Hold on, let me take his red eye out. I don't know how to, okay. Hi, Papa. You wanna get down? Okay, hold on, let me help. Oh, he just jumped. Okay, come on, let's get down. So yeah, you guys are amazing. Thank you guys for watching and seeing what we're up to tonight. Please wish Rhonda, Kendra, Jesse, Kenny an amazing wedding. It's coming up. I'm sure they will post videos, etc. about it. We love you guys so, so much. Thank you for watching. Hope you have a great night. Be kind to one another because you never know what someone's going through. And always remember, ATD does the test, so you don't have to. And we'll see you guys in the next video. Bye. We said bye.